Living in a shanty town is an informal network comprising of individuals born and bred in a slum.
I grew up in Kibera in a family of 6 kids, my single mom.
I was born and grew up in Kibera.
I was born and raised in Kibera.
I'm a resident of Kibera.
I live in Kibera.
Who are keen on changing the trajectory of their lives by building on their own capabilities and those of the community they find themselves in. And in this case, it's based in Kibera. Recently, courtesy of a Nelson Mandela Graça Machel Award and Civicus, Living in a Shanty Town convened a multi-stakeholders dialogue whose purpose was to stimulate a conversation between different stakeholders that don't usually interact directly with each other in order to jointly share views on how to tackle poverty in slums. Education emerged as a dominant topic of conversation in the dialogue.
The key thing is education as a great equalizer, education as a path to open many doors, and it's really important. It matters to me when I think about the work I'm doing now, the work I've done for the last couple of years, because really without education, we will end up in a society that's perpetually divided. Two classes, those who get and those who don't get. And the gap keeps growing wider, and you can't have a stable society. That will always be conflict. I went to school, primary school, in Olympic Primary School, when the government still was providing a lot of support to schools, and we had about 40 children in a classroom. Today we have free primary education, which 2 wards in Kibera don't know about, because 2 wards in Kibera don't have a primary school from the government. So it's all theory and news to them, but not reality that there's free primary education. But what the consequence of free primary education with a lot of underinvestment from the government is that we have a school like Olympic, where I went now, has 80 children in a classroom, 90 children in a classroom, and a huge shortage of teachers. So even the teachers on strike now, and leaders with national responsibility. Myself, we have to look at that and really fight about the budget. I'm certainly my job in the afternoon, along with others, to make sure that teachers are funded and that the government really pushes through on that. I visit a lot of schools in Kibera, and sometimes I'm not impressed, I'm depressed by what I see. And then a lot of times I'm very impressed, and sometimes I'm super impressed, and I will say, I haven't been to your school in a few months since we last came, but I was very impressed, when you get a school of disciplined teenagers, whether they're rich or not, who get it and know we want to go somewhere, and they can speak and they can ask questions, and that confidence you're giving them is as important as the academic knowledge.
Besides working on education, a different narrative of the slum that goes beyond the open sewers and crushing poverty would go a long way in providing room for innovation and transcendence. A different narrative gives a chance for individual responsibility in breaking the poverty cycle.
I believe something good can come out of Kibera.
And so many bad things have been said about our hood. But with me and you today here, we are here to retell the slum story in Kibera.
From, I think, a journey of listening to the many stories of kids in slum, we had a chance to tell it to the world. I'm here to partly retell the slum story. This was a talk at TED Nairobi, and you had 6 minutes to tell the world something you thought was worth listening. So this was my talk at TED Talk, and it was titled Retelling the Slum Story. And for the 6 minutes, and there's so many viewers who watch it online, the message was like simple. Beyond the open sewers, so much garbage around here, and time-crashing poverty, there's more to that. And we're just asking the world to see that point, which in it had our dreams and aspirations, and where we could, and supporting the same. And this is the International Human Rights Day at the UN last year. I had a meeting with Ban Ki-moon. and the United Secretary General. And I wrote this blog some time back. It's called No More Time Outs from Poverty. When I was writing this blog, I was at Nyali in Mombasa. I was doing an monitoring and evaluation for a program I had been implementing on youth work for 2 years. And during that moment, I felt so helpless. I've been working with these young people for 2 years. Their life looks the same. I tried a program, a blog written No More Time Outs from Poverty. It was mostly how do you design programs that don't just give a break that ends at the end of the program, but gives these young people a real chance to break the poverty cycle. It's not that you don't need that help, but how do you design it, or how do you interact with these people in a way that they don't feel okay and rich in a 3-year program that is so well funded. Then after the program closes, their life goes back to the same.
Living in a shanty town give room to perpetuate hope and to continually explore opportunities for growth, especially business growth.
My name's MC Jahil Firil. I'm an event MC / event organizer. I work with Pamoja Radio. It's a community radio back in Kibera. I have a program, Pass the Mic, Speak Your Mind, where we normally discuss issues that are affecting the youths and we normally find the solution to them. I working with the youth because long time people know that nothing good comes from the slums. So we are here to show the positive side of the slum, because it's simple living and uplifting mind, getting higher education to teach others, Yeah, so my main thing is to bring the positive side of Kibera to the world. Positivity, no negativity.
The Economist published an article some time back titled Boom Shanty Town, which referred this place as the most entrepreneurial in the planet. That is true because every one of the shanty seems to be about some business. Problem is, most of the businesses are not about income generating activities, but all about mere survival. Living in a shanty town is working a street consulting model that helps young people grow their income generating activities into profitable businesses.
One thing, we should remove the dependency syndrome from our youth. Our youth believe that they must be given something. You should go out there and just tell these youth that from that madhouse, you can move out of that place and be somebody. Most of them believe that there's nothing good that can come out of them. So what they do is they decide to resort to drugs or even to start stealing. You tell them that we can give you 50,000 as a group and start. They tell you 50,000 can do nothing. I know you started with 100 shillings and today they're somewhere better. So I think we should start thinking differently as youths. That is what we try to encourage them to do. But I thank God that I'm working in Kibera.
Don't be afraid to be humble and vulnerable and weak. Ask for help. Tell somebody, I need support, I need someone to help me take care of this situation that's beyond me. And in return, be sensitive and be a deep listener to what can you do for somebody else and help other people. And that to me has been the recipe for success.
You've worked with young people in slums before. What inspires you to work with young people?
Because I was one of them many years ago. So when I see them, I see hope because I used to be there myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, any lessons you've learned?
There's a lot of hope in the slums.
Mm-hmm. Greatest challenge?
Ignorance is the greatest challenge. Ignorance and a bit of laziness. People are a bit lazy and they're not willing to pull up their weight. So there's a blame game, or you blame the government, you blame your parents instead of doing hard work.
At PACE, we believe young people can make a difference, should be making a difference, and should not wait to grow older. And there's definitely something about getting young people back in the education system that will make it even better.
With World Youth Alliance, we work with young people from all backgrounds. It doesn't matter where you are, because we say from developed and developing nations, and we believe that everyone has dignity, and that by young people living out their dignity and giving themselves back to other young people, then society can become a better place. So that's what we advocate for, human dignity for young people.
We are passionate about the youth. We know, as they said, education makes the big difference in everyone's life. And we look at education, not just the books education, but education for us means a wide range of things, and that's why we come up with all these other social skills and capacity building to make a difference in the youth, so they can impact the youth now and the future youth.
What have inspired me to work more there is the faith and determination that those people have in themselves. They believe they can get out of that situation they are, and all we need to do is to encourage them, tell them it is possible, and this can only be done through giving them that awareness, which I think we are trying to do. We are trying to give them hope again to the society and tell them that it is possible.
Apart from working on the narrative of the slums, Living in a Shanty Town is keen on exploring different ways of tackling poverty. As an Acumen Fellow and Ashoka Youth Venture Partner, Living in a Shanty Town hopes to build and validate an unlikely partnerships in tackling slum poverty. The engagement with Civicus is aimed at creating room for more citizen participation in addressing poverty, not as a vessel, but as citizens keen on changing the trajectory of their lives.
Living in a